Yes, sorry guys, I got a bit delayed. So there are no attendances for this session, so okay, don't bother about looking for a form. There are no attendances here. So just to be clear, we have some queries, right? That someone wanted to ask. Okay, that was not for this session, sorry. Yeah, do you guys have any queries? We can start with that first.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, I was not able to mark the attendance of the previous class. Can I mark it right now?
Which it was for CSAI, right? Yeah,
Yes,
just
sir.
a minute. I'll just open it again.
Yes, sir.
Uh,
Thank you, sir.
where is it? IT. CSAI, CSAI. Yeah, it is there. Yes, we can do that now.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sir,
Yeah, go ahead.
sir, I want to ask that how to enter the place in terminal where we will actually write the C commands.
How to?
And enter the place where we will write the C commands in the terminal.
So first of all, the term is it's not C commands. It's basically a C program. Okay, so you will write it in one particular file, and then you will compile it and you will execute it. Okay, so this is different. Bash commands were different. You were supposed to issue those commands directly on your terminal, but now we are in the programming mode. So in the programming, you will write your code inside a file and then save that file and then compile it. Okay.
Oh, okay, sir. So we
So
have to.
you can use any editor, VI editor, Nano, Vim Nano, VS Code. Okay, there are so many actually that your friends can tell you. Okay, so there are so many editors out there. You can use any editor that you want. The idea is that you create a file, and in this file you have all the code, and then on your bash, um, Mridul, you can still add it by the way. I've just opened it again. Okay. Yeah. So basically, the idea is that you have to simply write write the C program somewhere, and then you have to come out, compile it using GCC.
Okay.
No, Sahil, no, there is no attendance for this. And with those guys who forgot to mark attendance in the previous lecture, I've just opened it again, so they can mark it if they've forgotten. That's it. So is it clear? So basically, you are creating a file, and then you have to compile that file, and you'll get whatever you want, right? Okay. So let's. Any more queries, guys? Yeah.
Sir, for C++ program, we have to use GCC or
You have to use
any other
G plus
program.
plus.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other queries, guys?
Sir, I want to, sir, can you explain again the -lm switch?
Okay, I'll do that. Let me just find some shepherds first, but that we will discuss again. Um, any other queries which is like not associated with this? We'll start with the session start. Shortly. Any other queries? Okay. So fine. If is Ahmad here? Ahmad Mas. Okay. I just replied back to you. Ahmed, you can mark your attendance now as well. Okay, I've just opened it again. You can try to mark it now. Okay. So yeah. Okay, guys. So let's I think we probably don't have all the people that were there in the first session, so we'll have to actually come up with the new shepherds. And now I can probably allow those who want to do a repeat shepherding. So let's start. Who would like to be a shepherd? Even those who have been to before, they can become shepherds. Okay. So this is the extra class. So Pranav is one. Pranav is always the first one, I guess. Who else? Rohith, another one. But Pranav, it's your responsibility to send an email to me at the after the lecture, writing the name of all the shepherds. So Pranav,
Yes, I.
Rohit, okay, Pranav, Rohit, Shashwat, Nehal. We have four already. I need one more. Or shall I pick one? Okay, I'll pick one, right? There has to be some suspense. But the point is that I'm not sure all the people are there. Okay, 72. Let me try to find someone.
Meanwhile, I have a doubt.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll look at the batch list by the time you can ask the doubt.
So that only that I'm not getting that. So why are we using minus LM?
Okay, okay. So we will. This is where we'll start from. Okay, and
Okay,
then
okay.
okay, and let me just pick one more shepherd. This is CS AI plus. I'll pick someone from CS1. Uh, this is IT. This is CS1. Okay. Okay. The first one is Nehal already is there. Siddharth Singh. Is Siddharth Singh here?
Yes, sir.
Siddharth, would you like to be a shepherd?
Yes, sir, I can try.
Okay, fine. So Siddharth is the fifth one, Pranab. You can note it down. Okay. So we
Yes, sir.
have yeah. So we have these five shepherds. So the shepherds, you can start first of all by just you know figuring out the queries that someone have about the previous lecture. I'll just start with there only, and then I'll keep on adding more questions for the next part. Okay, so this is what the someone has a doubt about. So you can start with this shepherds, and then we'll move to the next lecture.
All the GCC does not link all the libraries that come with it. So we have to actually link some libraries manually. So we use the minus LM switch to link the math.h library. Linking is a process where you can supply libraries written by other developers.
Your voice is breaking.
For your code. Wait, I'll check it.
Meanwhile, someone else can answer.
Okay, I'll try. Okay, so basically when you use let's say hash include math.h, your compiler doesn't really know where that actually is. So there are some special libraries which are already included by default, like string.h, stdlib.h, and so on, stdio.h. So these are already included. So for those you don't need any switches, but for some libraries like math library, and there are some audio video processing libraries, you need switches for those. So you're explicitly specifying the libraries which you want to use. So dash m is basically saying that you should use the math library. Otherwise the compiler will give you an error that math library not found. Like compiler will be fine, the linker will give you an error that math library not found. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, whomsoever asked the question, is the query resolved or not?
Yeah, sir, it's resolved.
Anyone else have any queries from the first 4 questions.
I wanted to ask that, like, are these switches made like these to compile faster, or are these just made like that? Like we have to specifically write -lm for what we have to do, like maths one.
Switches are
Kind of. Go on.
Yeah, Neil, go ahead.
switches are required. It's not nothing to do with the speed. Like they are required for you to link the library. Otherwise, you won't be able to use the functions in math.h, for example, max, min, apps, like all of them. You need to link them. That is a necessity. And the switch that -lm is a way to link it. It's not related to speed. You just have to do it in order to use those math functions.
So see, the linker basically adds all the header files which we need to link in the executable file, and the program, when we write that hash include mat.h, it specifies that this part of this program will be using that header file. So it is most of the time you will find a disparity between hash include and minus L, the switches which we are including there when it is a larger project. Like some programs of the project may require it, some may not require it. So all the requirements will be linked, but all of them will not be used in every program.
So what do we really mean by switches here?
Okay, so when you write something after dash, it is a switch. Like, do you remember the ls command, like list command, which used to show you all the things in a directory? So ls is just the names of the files and folders, and ls-l also shows you the size, right? So -l is a switch in this case. So switch is basically like, in this case, the switch is like, do you want to see all the file sizes, or do you not want to see all the file sizes? So that is like a switch, kind of. Like, I hope that makes sense.
When we wrote that include math.h, wasn't that sufficient to say that we are going to use this library? Why do we have to use that lm switch?
That is what I was trying to say. See, when we write GCC, the name of the file, and then we write -lm, the GCC and the name of the file is used to compile it into an executable file. Like if we want to run a program, we need to make an executable file of it. The GCC command is using that to make an executable file. And when we add the switch -lm, we are adding the math library or the header files. We are adding it to the executable file. And when we run the program, the hash include, when we write hash include in the program part, it directs the program that this is included and we can use it. And if we don't hash included and still use the -lm switch, it means that the math library is present in the executable but is not recognized by the program when we are running it. Did you understand, Divya?
Okay, thank you so much.
So any more doubts from the first 4 questions, guys? Okay, so then we can start with the set of questions for this week now from lecture 3.1. Shepherds, you can take over.
Code blocks are sections of block within matching curly braces, and they are all executed one after the other in order. So that is one code block within a matching pair of curly braces. Continue, other Shepherds.
Yeah, so there's this thing, like, let's say if you have a if statement or a for loop, then by default the line immediately after that if statement or for loop is executed. But for example, if you want multiple lines to be executed in the same loop or same if statement, then what happens is you need to have a code block. So code block is basically like one, it treats the whole block as one line of code, and it executes that one block of code immediately after that if statement or for statement. So in some languages like Python and stuff, you don't need braces. It's just by indentation, like how many spaces it counts, how many spaces. But in languages like C, C++, Java, so on, you have matching braces that indicate a code block.
So any doubts about code blocks? No, Sahil, you don't have to mark attendance. There is no attendance this time. Any doubts about code blocks and those of if do you guys have any confusions related to what a code block is? Okay, so I'm assuming you all understand what code block is, so we can now move to the next question. Shepherds, the next question. Okay, there is some question. So a procedure is one particular code block. There can be smaller code blocks inside a procedure. Is it clear? Like so basically any any paired braces, whatever statements you write within it. So for example, if you write an if condition and you remember we used those braces. So whatever you write inside those braces, that is one code block. And that code block will probably be inside another code block that is your main function. So code blocks, there can be one code block inside another code block. Basically the idea is whatever is there between those braces. So any more queries about code blocks? Sure. Yes, you could be a shepherd as well. This is actually very good. Please go ahead. Pranav, just add Yash's name as well, and yeah, go ahead, Yash. So sorry, you want to take the next question, Yash? Why do we need branching constructs while writing a program? Go ahead.
Yeah, sir. Thank you, sir. Uh, we so the branching constructs are like the keywords which are generally used in programs where we have to.
Yash, you
Sorry.
accidentally muted yourself.
Yeah. So we need statements. Sorry, those keywords in programs so that sometimes we need when we are running program and we need answers, we don't know when we'll get it, and that's why we use that, so that when once we get the our answer or the uh, desired output, we just exit the program and we don't need more time so more time consumption is not needed there. Otherwise our code can run for longer. For example, there are break and continue statements where when if it's let's say there's 100 times loop is running, and but our answer is we can take
Yeah,
a minute, but
just like we should not go into break, continue, and loop as of now because we have not
okay, sir.
covered in the
So
class.
just
Yeah.
yeah.
So as of now, a block is just basically a kind of a set of statements that you might want to execute. Uh, after, let us say, if condition is true, or you can say it is the main function. So currently, these are the two types of code blocks that you know of. Okay. So anyhow, anyone has any queries related to code blocks, or now the second question that we have is branching. So please go ahead and ask. Sahil, I'm not sure what you want to ask there. What do you mean? Is it right? Uh,
I'm asking if like in code blocks we have braces.
hmm?
If we make two times the same braces and only one statement, then it is right or it gives an
uh,
error.
it I don't think it should give an error. It's just that maybe your outer code block doesn't have anything. Uh, right? Again, I'm not 100% sure. You'll have to run it, but basically, you can from what I understand, you can create code blocks like this because there is something known as scopes. Okay, so basically, if you want to define a different scope, you can probably use a code block. But I'm not exactly sure what will happen. This should probably be fine, but just run it and check it. Okay.
Yes, sir, it's fine. I just tried.
Yeah, it should be fine because it's like a simple addition of another scope. That should be fine. Okay. Yeah. So where were we? Branching? Any queries about branching? So is everything clear? Why we need branching? Yeah, Sahil, that is what most probably it will run. It should not have a problem because it's just creating another scope. Um, okay. Any more queries about branching? Why do we need branching in programming? Aranya, you probably have your mic on. So I suppose there is no queries related to why do we need branching in programming. Everyone understands what is the importance of branching. It's a very important concept. Okay, I'm not talking about if, else, for, loop, whatever you guys already know. I'm just talking about the concept of branching, that you are executing a set of statements and then for some reason you want to execute a statement that is not the next statement in sequence. This is what is branching. Okay, that I executed a statement at line number n, and ideally the program counter will go to line number n plus 1, but I don't want to go it to line number n plus 1 but somewhere else, right? So this is branching. So everyone understands why we require branching in programming?
So can I add to this answer?
Yeah, sure.
The main power of programming lies in decision making, and that basically comes down to, like, we've studied if else right now. So that is why we need it, because and when anytime we make a decision, we need to, like, if something is something, we need to do something else, we need to do another thing. So the main power of programming lies in if else statements and similar. So that is why we need branching. It's like without it, programming would be almost useless, because the main part of it is taking input, seeing what it is, and taking action according to it. So that this is how we make decisions in programming.
Yeah, that's perfect. Any more comments, guys, or we'll move to the next question? Okay, so I guess it is clear. The next question is, difference between these two statements. This is, for those of you who are programming for the first time in your life, this is, let me tell you, when you'll go through your first lab, actually it won't be there in the first lab, it will be in the second lab. I expect that most of you will have this problem in your code. Okay, so this is probably the most common beginner mistake that you will see in C programming. So yeah, so that is what. So please discuss this, in the class. Anyone? Any of the Cephers?
So the first one, the double equal is actually a relational operator. It checks whether I is equal to j or not. If I is equal to j, it returns true, that is 1, or it returns false, that is 0. And the second one is assignment operator, that's single equal to. So it just assigns a value of the j to I, that is the right side of the equal to value is assigned to the left one variable.
So is it clear to everyone?
So can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead.
So in the first statement, I equal j, it either
Chandan,
returns 1 or 0.
your mic is disconnected. I think it is giving a lot of noise.
Let me reconnect.
Yes, much better.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so this is something that I'm sure a lot of people struggle with. In the first statement, the output is either 0 or 1. So 0 is false, 1 is true. And in the second statement, and this is important because this will not give you an error, but the output of second statement is the value of j. Like when you do I equals j, so it will be if the value of j. So if you do I equals 0, then it will be if 0. If I equals 1, it will be if 1. If I equals 2, it will be if 2. So I think that is a really important point you need to remember.
And if the value of j is anything other than 0 or 1, then it will be considered the same as 1.
Okay,
This is
I want.
true. This thing is true for C and C++ that 0 is considered wherever a Boolean value, a true or a false value is needed. If that place has a 0, it is considered as false, and any other positive integer is considered as a true statement. Nehal, you can go.
I wanted to ask first one is comparison. Second, you are saying that it's assignment. So if you don't write if, like we directly write I is equal to j in the codes we are writing, it will assign the values I is equal to j. But if we write it inside if function, what does that mean? Like if I is equal to j.
Yeah, it will
I equal to
assign.
j will assign j to I, and at the same time, I equal to j will give a output as j. So and then if j is, because it is within the if brackets, so it will mean if it is a 0, then the if statement will not be executed. If it is anything greater than 0, then the thing within the if block will be executed.
Like
So
if
I
we
will
have
become j.
if we have assigned I, like I is equal to 1, j is equal to 2, and after that we write if I is equal to j, then what will, like,
The difference will be if we have assigned I equal to 0 at first and we have given the value of 2 to j, then in the if statement we write I equal to j, I will become 2 and 2 will be returned. So I equal to j will be replaced by 2. So the statement becomes if 2, and 2 will be considered as a true case. So the block will be executed then. So both the things are happening together.
I think it will show an error because if I equal to j doesn't make any sense. When I run this thing in compiler, it shows an error.
Yeah, no, it will not show an error. You may get a warning in most cases,
Yes.
but in C++, you will not get an error.
You will
That
not
is
get
why
an
I think
error.
it's
Yes.
really important to remember. In language like Java, you do get an error if you try if I equals j, but in C++, this is a common pitfall.
Yes. This was new to me.
Yeah, so just I
This
think I just
basic
added another question. I guess if you answer that question, I guess it will also subsume the answer for this question. Okay.
Yes, sir. This will I think solve it.
So any of the shepherds would like to tell the answer for this question 4, and then I think that will also give an answer to the previous query.
Yeah, okay, I guess I'll try.
okay.
Does anyone else want to try?
Yash wanted to try. Yash.
Sir, why you have added ampersand and in printf?
That is
Oh,
actually
sorry. That was, yes, sorry. That is wrong. Sorry, I'm sometimes even I make a mistake. There is no ampersand. Sorry. And that otherwise that will be a. By the way, that will still not be a syntax error, but it will give you something weird. But okay. Yeah, this is what I want you guys to discuss.
Sir, I think in place of K, 0 will be printed.
Yeah, go ahead. I mean, everyone is listening.
okay. So let me walk you guys through the whole thing. First, we'll start from line 1, int I equals 5. This is straightforward. We are declaring an int I and we are assigning the value 5. Now, next line, int j equals 6. The same thing. We're declaring j and we're assigning the value 6. Int k equals I equal j. So here is where the tricky part starts. So int k is basic declaration. Now k equals I equal j. So we know that I equal j evaluates to either 0 or 1. So equal operator takes two arguments, I guess you can say, takes two values I and j, and it compares them. If they are the same, it will say that it is true, that is 1, and if they're different it will say 0. So here I and j, we know that they are different because 5 and 6, so I equal j will evaluate to 0. So int, this is basically int k equals 0. So this k, the value of k will be 0. The next, int l equals I equals j. Now it's the second case. In the like the second case we discussed in the third question, I equals j, this is assigning the value of j to I. So at this point the value of I will be equal to 6, value of j equal to 6, and the output of the bracket will be 6 because the value assigned to I was 6. So the so it will become int l equals 6, and printf is straightforward. It will be k and l. So k is 0 and l is 6.
So now, if any one of you cannot understand how k is 0 and how l is 6, now is the time to ask.
Here, the value of I is overwritten or the previous value will be stored?
It's overwritten. That's why it's a variable. You can change its value at any point.
Yeah, if we print I over here, I will be also printed as 6, and L as well will be printed as 6.
Sahil, I think you might be using C++, right? We are currently in the C domain. And even in C++, I'm not sure what are the current compilers, but from what I know, in C++ too, it has not yet been changed. So essentially, let me tell you why in Java you will definitely get an error if you write something like if I equal to j, because in Java conditions evaluate to a different data type, and that data type is Boolean. Okay, so uh, if I equal to, so in I equal to j, what is returned is an integer, right? But in C, and to the best of my knowledge, I'm not sure whether if maybe some recent C++ compiler has changed it, um, but the basic C++ that at least I have studied, there the conditions still evaluate to an int. Okay, it's either a 0 or a non-zero, that is 1. So in that case, if I equal to j is a valid statement because it will return an integer. It has to be integer, by the way, right? I and j have to be j. So that is the point, that this is why you will actually if I equal to j is still a valid statement, because in C and C++, the conditions evaluate to 0 or 1. The output of every conditional operator, every conditional operation, is a 0 or a 1, and that is the problem, that it sometimes become, so the compiler has no way really to figure out if this particular integer is coming because of a comparison or it is coming from an assignment. So this is the major problem. I'm pretty sure, at least in the beginning, in the initial C++ compilers, that was the case. As I said, I have not yet tried a recent C++ compiler, but maybe you guys would know better than me. But in the base, in the standard C++, it is a valid statement. If I equal to j is a valid statement.
Yes, so still in C++ we get 0 or 1.
Yeah, so that is right, right? So the
Yes.
core language has not changed. The core language is exactly the same.
It is.
So it's, I think, like a quirk of the C language is that it returns 0 or 1, unlike others like Java.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Someone else had any questions?
Sir, I want to ask that if we'll replace int l equal to I equal to j with if I equal to j, will it also return 6?
Just type it in the chat, Jay. Okay. We'll see what your queries. And there are so many chats going on. I hope that you guys are able to answer each other. If your query is not yet resolved, please unmute and ask. So is Jay is typing his query, but other than Jay, anyone else who has a doubt with what is equal to and what is double equal to? Because this is a basic programming concept. Okay. In some languages, you have protection from this error. Like Java, for example, has a protection for you from this error, that if you mistakenly write if I equal to j, the compiler will catch it. And because the language is built in such a way that a condition must evaluate to a boolean data type. So Java also has a boolean data type, char, int, float, double, and they also have a boolean data type. But yeah, go ahead. Someone had a doubt. Okay, so if we replace int l, if I equal to j, so you are replacing
So I think he's redeclaring I, which is not allowed. Unless he is, I mean, the I is capital, but I think it was supposed to be small. So it's int small I is equal to, in brackets, small I equal to j. So you can't redeclare a variable.
No, that you can't do. I mean, anyhow.
I'm
No,
asking
he's
that
saying
we should declare another variable L and we'll write if I equal to j in place of int L equal to I equal to j. Will it print j equal to, will it print 6?
The point is, if you write, if see, the first statement is a different type of statement. It is a definition statement. Okay, int l equal to I equal to j, that is a definition statement. The second one is a conditional statement. I mean, they are not really interchangeable, right? I mean, you have to uh, either you write the full four statements. Okay, Jay, write all the four statements as they are and then put it on chat, then we can have a look at it. Okay, so what exactly do you mean? And then we can probably try to comment on that, because as of now it is not making any sense to me at least.
Okay, sir. No, I got confused. Sir, means if I equal to j is basically a part of if statement.
So it is the same thing, right? So if I equal to j, so this is the point. This will evaluate to an integer. This is the idea, right? And what will be that integer? That integer will be 0 if I and j are unequal, and that integer will be 1 if I and j are equal. So if I put it something like this, sorry. So even if I put something like this, if just ignore this part, as of now. So if I equal to, uh, I should start using Notepad for doing this. So if I is double equal to j, then and you do something like this here. Yes, the whatever code is inside this block, that will only be executed if I and j are equal. If I and j are unequal, then your control will not go inside this block.
Okay,
Can
sir. Okay.
right? Okay.
Thank
But
you.
if you right, so this is the point, that conditions are evaluated to be an integer. Now that integer can also be used for other purposes. So for example, you can assign that integer to an integer data type, and that is what I am doing here. I have evaluated a condition, and whatever is the result, I am assigning it to an integer and another integer variable, and that is what I am saying, that this integer variable will be 0. Why? Because I and j are unequal.
Okay,
Okay.
sir. Yes, I got it.
Yeah. So the idea that I am trying to tell you is that there are two different operators in programming. Okay. There is an equal to operator, which is basically an assignment operator, and there is a double equal to operator, which is the comparison operator. This will be true probably in all programming languages. Some programming languages will have protection to disallow, to disallow this part. Okay, some programming languages, but they'll still be equal to and double equal to, two different operators. So you should not get confused when are we supposed to write equal to and when are we supposed to write double equal to. That is the point. Okay, if you are not programming in C or C++, let us say if you are programming in Java, then it is sure that you cannot make this mistake because Java will not allow you. But still, conceptually, you should understand why these two are different. That is the point. Okay, any more queries? I'm not following the chat right now, but any more queries, please ask your shepherds right now. Okay, are there no queries? So I have like one more question to add. I'll just write it, and while you can also answer it. So the question is, how can you formulate more complex conditions that require more than one comparison? This is the question. So any of the shepherds can take it up.
So we can do it by using logical operators. There are three logical operators: and, or, and not operators that can be used to formulate more complex conditions that require more than one comparison.
So anyone has any doubts, please ask. So the part of logical operators is clear to everyone? Yes, Uttaran. I have not discussed it specifically, but yes,
So
it
it
is
is
a
ternary operator.
yeah, it is a ternary operator, but basically, so it also performs it's not sorry, it's not logical. It's a relational operator. Okay, it's not logical. It's a relational operator. It is used to check for a condition. Uh, so actually, I'm not sure what is the best term for it. It should not ideally be called relational as well, because you can always formulate a more complex query where you have relational operators as well as logical operators. Basically, the term that I used to use was conditional operator. I'm not sure what is the term that people so because I have spent so much time with Java that some of the terminology has really got mixed up for me. Ternary is the correct thing, but ternary is a different thing. So basically, you have three types of operators: unary, binary, and ternary. So unary operators are those which require a single argument. So not is a unary operator. You simply need one operand with not. Um, almost all the operators in the C++ domain are binary operators. You need two operands, and a ternary operator means you basically have three operands there. Okay, there is a condition, and then there is something before the colon and something after the colon. So this is the point, that it is ternary. But the best way to call it, I think in Java they call it conditional operator. I'm not
Yes,
sure
sir,
what.
it is called conditional operator in Java.
Yeah. So
It
so
is the
so I'm
same
not.
in C or C++. The
Yeah.
meaning is the same.
Yeah. So basically, as I said, right, sometimes I also get my own terminology gets hoshed poshed, because for the past, I would say from B.Tech second year onwards, I have mostly worked in Java, other than my 2 years stay at ISRO, where I worked in C. So I've been mostly working in Java. So, so yeah, yeah, that is the best way to call it, if else light version, as Rohit has said. Um, yeah, so that is another operator. But okay, what were we discussing? I still get distracted so easily. Um, yeah, so the question is about logical operators. Do everyone understand what logical operators are and how you use them? If you have any queries, please ask.
So there's one more logical or bitwise operator, XOR. I think you missed XOR.
XOR is not really a conditional operator. So basically what you do is in bitwise operations, I will cover bitwise in the end of the course. But basically what you do is in bitwise operators, you take a bit by bit comparison. Um, but so XOR, if you go back to the Boolean algebra world, um, all the other operations can actually be formulated with the help of and, or, and not. Okay. In fact, there are two universal gates that they call NAND and NOR. So with the help of NAND and NOR also, you can basically represent any Boolean algebra operation. But anyhow, so coming back to XOR, so there is a formula that that you can use to. Um, so let us say if it is a two variable XOR, A XOR B is basically A dash B plus A B dash. Okay, that is what XOR is. So um, I mean, the idea is that when we formulate these queries, XOR is not really that thing. XOR is basically a bit by bit XORing of two integers. Okay, it is not really the same as and or and not. That is the point that I'm trying to make. So and or and not are used to formulate complex conditions. That is the idea. Okay. So
So I
anyone?
have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So like NOT and XOR are both bitwise, right? There is no conditional NOT operator.
No,
NOT
no,
is
no,
just bitwise.
no. Not is not bitwise. So what it basically says is not is used with integers, for example. So what not will do is um, any if you have a non-zero value in, let us say I write something like this. Okay, let me write something like this. So if I have something like this, I equal to 5, uh, I equal to 5, and I write int j equal to not of I, something like this. Okay, so what will j have? J will have 0. Similarly, if I make I as 0, then j will become 1. You understand what this not is? So basically whatever
So what
values,
happens? So what happens if we give a negative value to I and then we do not
it's
I?
fine, it's fine. Any non-zero value is considered
Okay.
as true. Any
Okay. Okay.
non-zero value is true and 0 is false. So now you understand the
Yes, I
difference
got it.
here. Yeah, so it is
Yes.
not really a bitwise operator. It is basically at the value level that if your value is non-zero, it will make it 0. If the value is 0, it will make it 1. Okay. Sorry. So this was just for this is not a part of the discussion. Okay. So any more queries about logical operators? Okay, good. So I think we have completed stuff in good time. So anything that you would like to ask? So did I actually show you guys some VI commands in the first session? I showed it to some batch. Whether it was you or the other batch.
No, sir.
Oh, okay. So I'll just because we have about 8-9 minutes of time, so I'll just probably show you some VI commands. Again, please keep this in mind. It is not necessary for you to use vi. Okay, it's oh yeah, the return zero thing. So Divya, it is like this. By the way, how many of you have watched the additional lecture, the digression lecture that I have given? It is not a part of your curriculum, okay? So it will not be asked in the exams, but I can see that some of you have queries which could have been resolved if you had seen that lecture. Um, so again, it's just a suggestion. It is not necessary. It's a suggestion that you should watch that lecture. Um, there is a digression lecture, guys. It's there on the Google Drive as well, and on the YouTube channel as well. Okay, it's about loaders and linkers and compilers. Um so it's there. If you guys have time, you can watch it. So again, it will just probably give you a little more. A little more insight into the world of programming. So there will be some 2 or 3 digression lectures in the course. I will not ask queries from them in your exam. They are mostly for your own knowledge, right? But I could see that some of the questions that were asked today, uh, it could have been answered if you had seen that particular that particular lecture. So just a suggestion, you can probably watch that lecture too. So anyhow, Divya, so the question that you asked, why do we write return zero? The idea is something like this. Have you ever seen some certain error messages where the error message says the process returned this error code? Some application some other exit code. So the idea is something like this. In many operating systems, especially in Linux world, we have a convention. We basically say that whenever your operating system executes a particular application, a particular executable, um, your program or your executable has a way to inform operating system whether it completed successfully, as expected, whether it performed everything that was expected, or there was some kind of premature problem. Okay, so there are some conventions with the help of which you can actually handle some stuff at the operating system level as well. So the convention there is that uh, even a main function, the actual program that you are running, that can return a value. Okay, so return of zero is more like a way to tell that everything is fine. So zero is the default value, that everything went fine. If you return any other value, as from the main, your operating system, so basically the idea here, Sahil, is the return zero statement is a way of you to basically tell the operating system that my program exited normally, exited as in it completed everything that was expected from it, and now I'm returning you the value zero. The convention is you will, as you'll start writing more programs, you will realize that many a times certain exceptional conditions might come up. So for example, you have written a program for dividing two numbers, but the user entered divisor as zero, right? So then what will you do? Then you can probably say, okay, I'm exiting with a different exit code. You say I exited with exit code 1 or exit code 2, which means that there was a problem in executing some of arithmetic operations. So these exit codes, right? So exit codes are basically a way to tell my operating system whether my program completed successfully or unsuccessfully. Return 0 means a kind of explicit way to tell the operating system that my program completed successfully. Even if you don't do that, it gets added by default. Okay, but it's a good practice to start using these exit codes. Okay, so return 0 is the best way to say that everything has gone on well. You will actually understand more about these exit codes when you'll start even when you start writing programs which has some kind of exception handling. I'm pretty sure your seniors will teach you something like try and catch in C++. So if you understand what try and catch are, then you will probably appreciate when you will require a different exit code than 0. So okay, so yeah, so I have about 3 minutes left. Let me just show you a few commands in VI. Again, let me be very honest. This is not required. You can use any editor that you want. So if you are not planning to use VI, you can certainly leave now. Okay. I'm just going to show a couple of commands because um, I get these questions a lot. So let's say this is the idea that you basically start with something like this, Vim, and then let's just say you were, I'm not sure whether I have GCC installed on my Mac, but let me try. So let us say you go to a C file and then, by the way, so when you enter VI, this is what you will look. Okay, this is what it looks like VI. But if you try to type something, nothing will get typed. Then if the first thing you have to do is you have to press I, and then this you'll see an insert getting written on the bottom of your screen. So now it means that this editor is ready to take data. So now you can type whatever you want. So let's just say I type put stdio.h and something like this. Okay, so after I have written my text, whatever it is, I just put a tab. This is what you have to do. There is an escape key on the top left of your keyboard. Okay, so if you press escape, you are back. So that insert mode is gone now. You are now in the command mode where you can provide more commands. Okay, now once you have gone into command mode, by the way, once it is in the command mode, you can keep on pressing the escape a number of times. It will remain in the command mode. Then you have to type colon. You can see whatever I'm typing on the bottom left side of the screen. So I've just typed colon. Now if you want to save whatever you have written, the command is W. And then if you do not want to save this, the command is Q. Okay, Q for quit, W for write. Now because I have already written something similar to whatever warnings you will receive in any other editor, after writing Q, if I press enter, it will tell me no write since last change. So basically it says that this file has changed and you have not written. So it's similar to, do you want to save it, similar to any other editor. So if you do not want to save it, then all you have to do is override this Q by saying Q and this not. Okay, and then if you come out, it will come out without writing anything. And if you want to write, by the way, a simple W will write it. Okay, a W and a Q will go out. A simple Q will bring you out. Now this Q will work because I have no unsaved work. Okay, so now it worked. And then you have to do, I'm not sure whether it will work or not. Do I have GCT? Yeah, I have GCT. Okay, so then the default file is dot out, and you can see hi here. Okay, so this is the process. You have to write your code in some editor, save it, then come on bash, compile it, and then this is how you execute your program, right? So I have given a link to some VI tutorial. So if you plan to use VI, again, let me be very frank, if you plan to use VI, um, you can use any editor, right? I mean, as I said, um, the point up to which you have to create the C file, that can be done in any editor, and from there onwards you have to use bash to compile it and run the program. That is the only thing that I expect. Okay, so thank you guys. I guess that
Sir,
is fine. Yeah, go ahead.
sir, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Sir, there
Sir,
a weird error was coming up when I was doing it in VS Code. So I will send you the screenshots in mail. If
Sure,
you can
sure.
check it out once.
See, let me also tell you, I'm not a VS Code guy. I have never used VS Code. But if the error is related to Bash, I can help you out. Um,
Yeah.
if it
Yeah.
is some
Okay.
VS Code problem, I probably won't be able to help you out. Yeah. Anyone else had any question?
sir,
Yeah.
sir, what is the difference between writing multiple ifs, if, and if, else if?
It's about a programming style, right? So basically, it's like this. Whenever you have to write a set of conditions, I think I've given one example where you have to check for a range, right? That if your percentage is from 90 to 75, do something. If your percentage is from 74 to 50, something like this. So so you have some set of conditions that you have to implement in your code. Now, how can you do that? There are two ways to do it. So the first thing is you basically check if the first condition is true or not, right? That is the first thing you will check. If it is true, you will execute some code. Otherwise, so otherwise means else. So now in the else part, you can go and write another if. Okay, so you open the brackets. Let me just use this. I'll use. I don't want to use word again, so I'll just use genie. Mm, okay, let me share the screen once again. So this is what it should look like. So let us say I have to I have two or three conditions to match. So one way to do it is something like this. Uh, so this is condition one, and so I write what is supposed to be done if condition one is true here. Condition one related statement. And then what happens if condition 1 is not true, right? Then it is possible that condition 2 is true. So one way to write this is like this. So you go inside else, and then within here you write if condition 2. And then you make another clear basis like this, right? Now you write uh, no condition 2 related statements here. Okay? This is another way to do that. Similarly, now if let us say condition 2 is also false, then what will happen? It will go here, and then you can write something like this. Condition 3 related statements. Do you understand what is the flow here? That basically I'm just going to check for my first condition. If it is false, then my code will go inside the else block. Now here I'm putting another condition. If it is true, my code will come here. Otherwise, it will go again in the else block. So do you understand this? This is what is nested if else.
Sir,
Okay.
if we
Yeah.
use only if condition one, then next line if condition two, if condition three, but it will give an error or it will work.
Without the else?
Yes, sir. If condition one, next
Got
line
it.
if condition two, then
Got
do
it.
this.
Do you say something like this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, it will
The
work
problem.
or it will give error.
See, it's like this. If it is, let us say I also have something like this. Okay? So the issue is something like this. If condition 1, condition 2 and condition 3 are mutually exclusive, that is, if whenever condition 1 is true, 2 and 3 are not true, or whenever 2 is true, 1 and 3 are not true. Okay, if this is the case, then it doesn't matter. Okay, you can either write it like this or you can write it like this. So whatever I just wrote. Okay, if these three are mutually exclusive. So what I mean by mutually exclusive, um, only one of these three is true for any particular scenario. Then
Yes.
it doesn't matter whether you write it like this or not. The issue is sometimes you have very complex scenarios. Okay, maybe condition 1 is also true, condition 3 is also true. You want to write some, so this what I'll tell you what happens is these ifs are independent. Okay, so this is a more general case, as in this case, I can handle a situation where all these three are either max mutually exclusive or not mutually exclusive. Okay, um, this kind of scenario is more helpful when you have a different type of conditioning system. So for instance, how do I tell you? Yeah, this is one way to tell you. Let us say I'm writing the code for that percentage thing only, right? So the first thing I write is something like this: if percentage is uh, is greater than 75, I want to write some message here. Okay, now, okay, now let us say I write something like this as well. If percent is greater than 50, then I write some more statements here. If percent is greater than uh, is greater than 30, right? Now tell me if the value of percent is 29. No, don't. What will happen? So all these three, the statements inside all these three will be executed. You understand? If
Yes, sir.
if the if the value of percent is 29, uh, but I may not want this, right? What I really want is if the guy has anything greater than 75, then something else should be printed. Else, you understand, right? It's am I making sense? So basically, the sequence of your conditions with the help of the sequence, if I make it like this, else if, uh, else if. Now what? Let us say this code block gets executed, then these two code blocks will not be executed,
Yes, sir.
right? So this is the point that some in certain situations I would like to manage it like this, that if one of the if conditions is true, I don't want the others to be executed. So this
Okay,
is
sir.
the
Got it.
difference, right? So you will have to write both of these types. Okay, for places you will have to write it like this. For certain places you will have to write it like this. It depends on what exactly do you want to do.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so any more queries, guys? And by the way, mm, yeah, okay, so uh, yeah, someone has a question, is it?
Sir, so in this question only, if we write it without else if and we want 29%, so what will be printed?
Without else if, like this part?
Yes, sir, and the
Yeah.
same percent example, 29. So what will be
Okay,
printed?
okay, sorry, so here, if I remove this, is it?
Yes, sir.
So what will happen is if your percentage is 29, whatever is written here that will also be executed. Whatever is written here that will be executed, as well as here. So all these three blocks will be executed.
But sir, in all these
Oh, sorry,
percent,
It is. I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. I. It is something like this. Um, so essentially, okay, what is the best way? Probably I didn't get the right example to tell you. The idea is that in certain cases you would only want one of these conditions statements to be true, even though the conditions below it could also be true. So let me now show you an example. If I make it like this, 30, 50, and 70. Now you understand what it means. Now let us say if your percentage is 29, what will happen?
first
The
will be
statement the statements all these three will be executed, right?
yes.
Because all, but what I want really is something like this. If it is less than 30, I want to write fail. If it is less than 50, I want to write just passed. If it is less than 70, I want to write okay, good work. So now if I make an else here, now you can understand the difference, that basically if this if gets executed, these two are not going to be executed.
Okay, sir. Okay.
You understand that even though these two conditions are also true, but now you don't want these blocks to be executed because you have covered that condition here.
So the program will not go to else if is true.
Yeah. If percentage is less than 30 is true, then it will not go in this part and this part.
Okay, sir.
Right? Because there is an else associated with it. So by default, else means that it will only come here if this if was wrong. So this is a very simple way to implement bounds. So if you want to put bounds, this is one way that you start with the lowest bound or the highest bound. It depends on what you are trying to compare. I actually used the wrong operator. Um, so you start if you want to do it the other way around. For example, this was the initial example that I started off, right? Then it should be something like this. If I want to give a message for greater than 75, I give it like this. Okay, this is also equivalent. Now assume that the percentage is 80. Okay, then all three will be executed, right? But I only want the 75 block to be executed and not these two. So then I put it like this. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So any more questions, guys?
Sir, I have one doubt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, what is the difference between execution and compilation?
Compilation is basically you are so you write the code in these in C language, right? Then
Yes,
the
sir.
C language is not executable by your computer. Remember, your computer only knows that 0 and 1 language, right? So
Hmm.
someone has to convert your C code into some instructions at the 0 1 level. So compilation is that process that you take your C code and you convert it into a 0 1 language, but nothing is being executed. Okay, it is just another program, but in a different language, in the language of zeros and ones. During execution, this 0 1 language program is taken up and executed by your computer.
Okay, so first compilation takes place, then execution.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So any more queries, guys? Okay. We will then discuss tomorrow the lecture that I shared for arrays. Okay, and I have to create another lecture for you for Wednesday. Please expect it to be there by late night. Okay, and that we will um, yeah, it's fine, Nehal. I really like good shepherds. It's just that I want most of the class to get chance to become a shepherd. So that is why I first ask those who have not done it to do to and by the way, Pranav, you have to send me the email, okay, where you have written the names of the shepherds. Okay, thank you, guys. Thank you for giving your time. Bye, guys.